Maureen, you wrote an op-ed in Fortune magazine entitled "How Harvey Weinstein's Downfall Could Change the Way Women Talk About Sexual Harassment." What do you mean?
So by that, I really am responding to the fact that actresses in Hollywood or anyone with celebrity has a much bigger microphone than, say, somebody in a corporate office of an investment bank or in corporate America. And so to use that voice and to out something that seems to be pervasive behavior in so many industries, I think is really indicative of a sea change.
You rose to pretty high ranks at a place like Bear Stearns at a time when I think a lot of us, the caricature of Wall Street was one of very serious bro culture. How evident was that, and how difficult was it to just kind of navigate the behavior and the culture and the way that was seemed, at least from the outside, so pervasive in that industry?
Well, so I witnessed two things. There were the women who seemed to do the best were able to sort of ignore very bad behavior, and the ones who weren't able to ignore would leave. And so there were two things going on, which was that there is this consistent desire to elevate women, I think, at most investment banks, and yet it wasn't happening. And this disconnect between the two seemed really obvious to me. So myself and some of the other very senior women tried to sort of circle the wagons and talk about this issue in a way where we were not going to be litigious about it. As you know, Wall Street firms file U4s, so they are committed to arbitration. So if there's any sort of problem, it's settled in-house. By Hollywood or this whole Weinstein episode sort of blowing this open, I think there's much more fluid conversations going on after all these years, and that, to me, is very hopeful.
Have I got this right, that you refused to sign any kind of a non-disclosure agreement?
I didn't sign anything. Yeah, did I witness many things over the years? Yes, I did. And one thing that really made me very sad was I didn't understand. I was offered some money. Why signing a piece of paper and accepting money? How was that going to change anything for the women coming behind me? And it felt powerful to say something like that. It also felt very expensive to say something like that. But what I really wanted to do was just talk about it openly. I wasn't out to name names or get individuals in trouble. It was just to talk about a cultural problem that, to me, was not just at Bear Stearns, but many other places. You would see these class action suits at a very big investment banks. They would settle for enormous amounts of money, and nothing was really changing.
You bring up that it's a culture and a cultural problem, and I think as this has blown wide open, we're still trying to grapple with what this is all about. In your mind, is this about sex, or is this about power, or is it about both?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. This is not about attraction and sex. This is about power. If there was a typical example here, it is the young, sort of ambitious woman and a very powerful man, and what's going on is that he's extending his muscle, he's showing how powerful he is, how he can have whatever he wants. And this younger woman who is very vulnerable in that in this ambitious time in her life, most women I witnessed were just trying to either have mentorship from older men, or they were trying to show their stuff, show their commitment. And then once something happens between the two of them, or if there's a proposal that the woman is not, if there's a proposal that the woman is, advances that she does not accept, then it's such an awkward relationship going forward. So that's, I think, not just on Wall Street. I think that happens many other times, and it is about power.
I just want to, in closing, read for people at home the last line of your piece. It said, "A bright side of Weinstein's downfall is that Hollywood women carry a bigger microphone than women in other careers, and right now they're reciting lines they've finally written for themselves." Really quickly, because we're completely out of time, is there an opportunity here? Is the window open to make real change?
The window is open to make real change, and I think that's why, I'm working on the screenplay for this movie. Warner Brothers is behind it. I think there's a tremendous effort right now to make this conversation keep going. Often we have one individual thing happen, and then the subject gets dropped again. This time feels different to me.
Indeed. Thank you so much for making the time to do this, Maureen.
Thanks for having me.
Maureen Sherry, former managing director at Bear Stearns and author of the novel Opening Bell.